The Nimble with Numbers team presents Chalked Blocked with Bo Big Time McBrayer.
I gotta know what a $5 shake tastes like.
That's hot. That's hot.
I want winners, Bo. You don't know diddly.
And his partner, Scott Stag Simpson.
Do you know who I am?
Trying to put Tiger Bomb on this jungle's nuts.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
I gotta catch a glimpse of these warlocks. Let's make a move. Let's make a move. Let's make a move.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Chalk Block, the world's sexiest DFS show. For now, this is a Nimble with Numbers production. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the old damn channel, and jingle that bell for notifications. Scotty Stacks, Bo McBig Time, ready to get you cashing on the DFS streets, the mean DFS NFL streets. We're pretty good at this thing. We're damn good at this thing. Scotty Stacks, how you feeling, buddy?
You know, I'm doing well. I just spent most of my day at a middle school football tournament. They had seventh grade, eighth grade games. I was running the concession.
Any good recruits?
You know, we got some good players. Yeah, one of my daughter's friends got a touchdown. He rushed it in, 4th and 1. He took it downtown. So, good times. I was excited. My daughter's out now with the crew, with the cheer crew. So, hopefully it all turned out well. But I'm excited because we got NFL football tomorrow. And Bo, I just got to ask you, you got to get up at 6:30 if you want to watch the London game. It wrecked me here on the East Coast. By the time the lightning delay and the Sunday night game came along, I was dying. Hold on, that's my daughter. Let me turn myself down real quick. How are you doing?
I mean, we had 14 hours of commercial kind of football. So it was 14 hours straight of football. We did great. I got up early. I think I slept in till 7. I missed the first 10 minutes of the first quarter. It was fine. It was fine. I got caffeinated early for the football in London, foggy London town. And then we had the 7 hours of commercial-free football with Scott Hansen. That was great. My Wi-Fi went out last weekend. So I ended up cooking a bolognese sauce all day long. I just let it simmer all day long, watching Red Zone on my 5-inch iPhone screen. It was first world problems. First world problems is doing most of your Sunday football watching without a Wi-Fi signal, watching it on my iPhone while cooking pasta bolognese.
So you had to watch it on your phone?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi was out all day long.
Dude, that's mega tilting. I mean, is that a California problem or is that new? I mean, what's going on here?
It was an outage in my neighborhood. So like they were messing with the lines trying to upgrade something on a Sunday and knocked out everybody's Wi-Fi that had our cable company.
That's bad, right? That's bad.
It ain't gonna happen tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna be rocking and rolling on the big screen, surround sound, Scott Hansen. You know it. We got 10 games on the main slate. We got 6 and 4. Another good balanced split. I was looking forward to that last weekend until the red light of doom came on my router.
It's not good. You don't want the red light of doom on your router. That's bad news bears.
It's bad.
So, well, I'm excited. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to see if this transition works here because, we've transitioned now. I can scoot back a little bit so my whole body can be in the frame. There we go. All right. We do use Run the
Still
Sims.
ugly.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it. We use Run the Sims here for our DFS pleasuring. You're pleasuring as well. So the way it works is
that belongs to Mr. Gilmore.
what we do is we like to go through each of the games, and then we look for the chalk that needs to be blocked and also talk about some of our favorite plays. So we'll start here with the Green Bay at Arizona at Green Bay. Ooh, it's a sexy game. Bo, what are you thinking in this game?
Kyler, I don't know his middle name, Murray, is a great play. He is leverage. He's leveraged with Trey McBride. He's leveraged with Marvin Harrison. He's leveraged with both guys. You can play him with James Conner. You can play him in a house. You can play him with a mouse. Dr. Seuss loves the Cardinals this week. They are leveraged. Obviously the Packers are a good play too because Arizona's defense is meh, but you get a little bit more chalk attached to that. This is a fantastic early window game stack opportunity because a lot of attention is going to go on the very next game on this slate. And I think this one's going to be the higher scoring of the two. So get ready, buckle up for Green Bay, Arizona to be a shootout. Mm-hmm. So many weapons. So many weapons. Oh, yeah. I like Jaden Reed at 7K. I think he'll come in south of that 15%
Yeah.
because he is a little bit up there in price. If you're looking for the leverage pivot, look no further than the guy who got a lot of targets and a lot of big play opportunities down the field, but couldn't quite get going last week. Dontavion Wicks at 5,200. He got the targets, he got the air yards, he had 3 drops in the game. Unfortunate. Good things, drops aren't sticky and drops don't matter. He's still going to keep getting those opportunities down the field. And nobody's really looking at him because it's Romeo Dobbs is back. You got the tight end Tucker Kraft that got all the scoring opportunities last week. Tucker Kraft's 2 touchdowns were both completely uncovered. Like nobody, they didn't cover him, and it was great for us because we all had Tucker Kraft last week. Everybody in the world had Tucker Kraft, and thankfully the chalk hit. But it was pretty lucky. It was pretty fluky that Tucker Kraft smashed last week with the 2 touchdowns because it very well could have been Dontavian Wicks or Jaden Reed or Josh Jacobs. It was kind of that weird game where the Packers did well, but they didn't do as well as we hoped they would. I think that they go completely ballistic in this game, just like the Cardinals do. Not much defense to be had in this game.
I'm gonna say I like that. I'm into that.
I like it a lot.
Let's build a stack here.
Stacks, plural.
Stacks. Yeah. So let's start with your boy Kyler Murray, and let's get him both a wide receiver and a run back.
Did you know what Kyler Murray's rating in Madden is?
No, I do not. We'll hit
Take
me
a
with
guess.
it.
Take a guess first.
87.
77.
What?
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
77.
That's 77.
Madden doesn't know what they're doing anyway. It's just it means nothing, but it's funny to make fun of the Madden ratings adjusters because Kyler Murray to 77, Jordan Love at 82, I think is pretty appropriate. But 77 for Kyler Murray, he's shown that he's a lot better than that this season. Look what he did to the 49ers last week.
Doesn't he have the fastest run on record so far this year by any player? I mean, you can't
Yeah,
get. He should be a 99
he held up
speed already.
Yeah, he held up the deuces at the 43-yard line, and he was right. There was DBs falling behind him as he took off, his little legs scurrying down the field, and he was pulling away at 5'8.5". The dude can scoot.
Yeah, he was scoot, diddly boot. I agree with you on that one. All right, so do you like the Jaden Reed, Marvin Harrison? I got a little bit of 4% of that.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, what about your boy Wicks? A little Wicks and Harrison as well.
Yes. Yes.
And then you do a little Jordan Love build where we go the other way and get a little Connor maybe.
Yes. Like I said, there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games to figure out what you want to stack with on this slate. I think there's 3 really good stacking games. This is the one where I think you get a little sneakier because the other 2, obviously the Beltway battle and then your Detroit Dallas in the late window are going to be very popular. I think this one is the sneaky one of the 3. And so I'll be heavily kind of mixing and matching my stacks with this game just because I think that you're going to be able to find some leverage there.
Learn how to do my audio mixer if you can't hear me, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I like that play. And, also McBride is back too. And yes, he's expensive, but
Yes,
I mean, there's
so
not a
good.
lot of tight ends. You also have Tucker Kraft, who's a little more rostered. But if you're kind of in between these guys, who you leaning towards?
Oh, McBride easily. Like I said, McCraft's performance was great, but it was very fluky. His long touchdown, he was completely uncovered on the left side of the field as a check down option. They just forgot about him, and then he just sprinted down the sidelines and scored. And the other one, it was kind of like a misdirection boot play, which obviously the LaFleur offense is known for running off that Jacobs inside zone. They run the little boot action, and Tucker Kraft kind of snuck in on the underneath route, and nobody covered him. So great that we got 2 touchdowns from him last week, but this week I think he's just too chalky. I'd rather put my resources somewhere else, like Trey McBride, who's getting very little to no fanfare. Especially if I'm going to be game stacking this, I'm going to be looking for those leverage points, and that's a big one right there.
I like it. I like that call. I built a few stacks while you were doing that, so yeah. Can't stop myself. Can't help myself. All right, the Beltway battle. I'm not gonna lie, Bo. I'm gonna tell you a story. I called into the Sports Junkies here in the Washington D.C. area, and
you would be a radio first time caller, long time listener.
First time, long time.
Crab cakes and football. It's what Marylanders do.
Well, actually, one of my guys is in that league. Is in my Crab Cakes league. Johnny Cake Sawville is in the league. So I called in and said, "Hey, listen, live this
Money Middle Cakes. Right?
Money Middle Cakes. I'm like, lived here my whole life, right? This is my spot." I said, "There's no rivalry right now." I said, "The Ravens are a great football team, and the Commanders suck." I said, "It's like Best Buy to Circuit City, or now Amazon to Best Buy, just like the worst to the best. It doesn't matter. There's not a comparison." And they had talked about the clubs and stuff, and how the players in Baltimore were talking about they win in the preseason. I said, no one cares about the clubs. I said, no one watches preseason, and nobody's in the clubs. So this game is going to be fought in Baltimore. Where are you leaning here? Because there's going to be points scored. We both have Derrick Henry against each other in the clash, so I know you like Derrick Henry. $8K, priciest up there with him and Saquon. I think Saquon's $8,200, but you're getting expensive. But I think worth it on just face value in this offense. They're going to score a lot of points.
Yeah, and for me, cash games, especially Derrick Henry, is chalky. He's also expensive. He's also scoring touchdowns every single game this year. Washington's defense has kind of pulled it together a little bit the last couple of weeks, but they're still suspect on the back end. They've been able to somewhat cover guys, but this team, this Baltimore Ravens team, is number 2 in the league behind the Commanders in points per game. We're going to get some points, but we might actually see some defense in this game too, a little bit of sneaky defense. So I'm going to lean on Derrick Henry. Of course, I'm going to have Lamar Jackson in a ton of lineups because it's Lamar Jackson. You gotta look at Jaden Daniels' popularity here. 5%. I think I'll take an advantage of that one too.
That's nice leverage.
Nobody thinks the kid can keep it up, especially against the Baltimore defense. But guess what? Baltimore's defense is not the same without Mike McDonald as coach. It just isn't. We've seen them get run all over by Buffalo, and then last week they gave up a ton of points in a win. I think that this Washington Commanders offense is for real, but I think they've been outplaying themselves on defense. So there's going to be some points. I don't know if it's going to be as big of a shootout as Arizona Green Bay or Detroit Dallas, but Lamar Jackson's going to get a lot of my lineups, but Jaden Daniels is going to get a few too. You're not going to want to fade this whole game. There's plenty of good weaponry on both sides, but I think the pass catchers for Lamar, as shocky as he is, they're not getting any love. Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers seem to be having a great season, and they still haven't been as popular in DFS streets as Lamar Jackson is. And obviously with the rushing upside that Lamar brings, you're not going to get as much popularity, but Zay Flowers at 13%, that's not bad for if you're stacking those two guys, or if you're stacking this game, maybe go Jaden Daniels, Zay Flowers, and get a little Terry McLaurin if you want. But this game's fun. But Jaden Daniels is a stud, man. Anybody who was telling on themselves saying that Jaden Daniels wasn't going to be an NFL level quarterback just simply didn't watch him play at LSU or at Arizona State back in the day, because the kid's been a stud for 5 years now.
Well, even the guys who did play with him at Arizona State were clowning on him. So, people are hating and doubting. I'm playing De'Ami Brown against you. If there are going to be a bunch of points in this game, 51 and a half.
Oh,
yeah.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy who said De'Ami is going to score last week?
Wait, were you that guy? Wait, was you?
I was that
son
guy.
of a bitch. I do remember that. Yeah. I like
De'Ami Brown from North Carolina. He's a Tar Heel.
Good call. It was a good call.
Played with Sam Howell back over there. De'Ami Brown, deep shot guy. If you got a 9 route, and if I like watching the mic'd up moments where Jaden Daniels, they had like a big run up the middle with Brian Robinson, and then right after that they said Jaden Daniels is chirping at Cliff Kingsbury, hey, let's take a shot, and Cliff calls the shot play, the 9 route to De'Ami down the rail, and Jaden just dropped it right in the bucket for the TD. And I was on my feet. Like, I hate the Commanders. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, but I was on my feet saying, that's how you fucking do it right there. You take your shot after you just gut checked them with your running back, the sledgehammer Brian Robinson, who's out for this game. I was excited to see my guy, the guy that I called the deep touchdown play. That was as much fun as I've had watching a rival score a touchdown is in a long time.
I gotta say, I am a big fan of that type of route, and he's called his number twice now. He did it in the Cincinnati game as well, where he's gone to the coach and been like, "Coach, I see something." It's like see something, say something. Well, right? I love it.
Diami's kind of a one-trick pony. Diami's been running go routes since he was at North Carolina with Sam Howell. That's kind of what helped Sam Howell get drafted as during his junior season, was being able to drop those big floaty deep balls down there to Diami Brown. That's his thing. Like, he can stack a defender vertically, even in press coverage. And it seems like Jaden Daniels throws a gorgeous deep ball. He has for years now, where you're just like, man, if you're going to give him that and you're going to let him run around in the pocket, like on that touchdown run that he had last week, he's going to hurt you. And Baltimore can really get hurt in this game if they don't keep Jaden Daniels in the pocket and make him do what he's not comfortable doing, which is throwing over the middle of the field.
Yeah. No, I like it. Let's build some stacks, though, in this game, because we do have some weapons, and we might as well weaponize ourselves with a little bit of stack attack. So.
Rashad Bateman. I am the Bateman. Shoddy B. Another touchdown. He's scoring touchdowns every game, it seems like, too.
And you got to do what you got to do in the NFL to eat. You know what I'm saying? You can't stop eating.
Shoddy B. Ooh, I like that second one. Just a nice little skinny. Lamar, Bateman, McLaurin. Then you can go Zay and McLaurin. You can go, man, you can go all sorts of ways. I think Mark Andrews is starting to wake up. He had 5 for 54 last week, and nobody really is paying attention to him because he hadn't done much. But Mark Andrews is a force, and he's leverage. Nobody's going to be playing him.
I mean, look at the stack here for Lamar, Rashad, and Diami. It is 15-9. That's cheap. That's cheap. That's cheap.
Yes. And that is a holy Hail Mary GPP bonanza play right there. Imagine if both of those guys catch touchdowns and Lamar does his thing. That could be fun.
What do you think about adding in like an Austin Eckler or Jeremy McNichols in this? I think there's going to be some leakage and some overflow and some kind of wide open space in the middle of the field. Am I wrong there? How are you kind of looking at the backs in this matchup?
Eckler is popular. He's a good cash play. He's going to get plenty of run. McNichols is a sneaky one because he can catch passes just like Eckler can. He's always been kind of that satellite back, but he got that goal line touchdown last week too, where it should have been Eckler on the field, but they had the wrong personnel for Eckler to get that touchdown. But McNichols is a play. Isaiah Likely is a play here. I don't think Luke McCaffrey is a play. I don't think Zacchaeus is a play. But those guys have all scored this year. Even Charlie Kohler scored last week. It was a wild one where he's like they forgot about Isaiah and Mark. They covered Isaiah and Mark, and they forgot about the fat white guy running down the seam.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find all these with all. I have to take a tight end out because there's only like a million opportunities here to
yeah, you just gotta get some variety.
Oh my god,
don't have to go crazy on them.
No,
there's a lot.
I'm trying to get to Diami Brown though with Rashad and then McNichols. Like that's what I'm. Yeah. That's the one.
It's a veritable cornucopia of options.
Here we go, right here. Lamar, Rashad, Diami, and McNichols. 20.4. That is
McDollars.
Nice. I like
McDollars.
This. You still got a lot of money left. You can go do other things. It's not done for you. You know, so
Jeremy McDollar Bills. Yeah, that's those two games on the main slate early window are going to be great to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited just being local too, just to see what happens in this context and how it all plays out. So. I don't want to throw shade.
Next game,
but this game I'm
AFC South.
Not as excited about. Not as a little bit.
Well, I mean,
un poquito.
It's,
you know,
try following the acts before it. It's just there's nothing wrong with this game. I don't think it's a bad game. It's a division rivalry game, but it's not doesn't have quite the excitement behind it that the other two do. So yeah, trying to follow those acts is tough.
We have a bad passing offense in the Titans versus a bad coverage team in the Indianapolis Colts, and then we have a bad rushing defense as well for the Indianapolis Colts. We got an okay rushing team here for the Titans, so there's a chance for some points. But then, the Titans defense is pretty good against the pass, and the rush has kind of been dinged up without JT. So how do you kind of see this game unfolding? I'm kind of leaning towards the under, but maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm just kind of seeing this in the kind of the defensive mindset. Tennessee's come off of a bye as well. What am I wrong here, Bo? Correct me. I've been needing a correction. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, a lot of injuries here. Even the guys that are playing, like Pittman and Downs, have been banged up. We have Alec Pierce averaging 21 yards per target this season. He only catches bombs. He's just like Big Al. He only hits dingers.
That's wild, by the way. That's
insanity.
It's so great. Some of his yards per game or yards per attempt or whatever it is, yards per target. 30, 44, 44. Like you're like, what? 44 yards per? That doesn't make sense. You're catching one pass for 44 yards. That's how you're averaging. Like that's crazy.
And a lot of people are fading Richardson, and they're fading those pass catchers because of Richardson, because he's not a dink and duck specialist like Flacco. But Flacco got 2 of those bombs to Pierce at the end of that game last week. Before that, he was absolute trash that whole game. That whole game, he did nothing until he dropped 2 bombs to Alec Pierce, and then all of a sudden you had a 35-point performance from Joe Flacco. It beat me in the clash. I was pretty upset about that because how bad is the Jaguars secondary to let that happen to them? I think that the Titans are a better team. The Colts are all banged up, but I think Richardson has a leverage spot to play naked or with Josh Downs. I'm not going to do the Trey Sermon thing because Tennessee's defense is tough. Tennessee's defense is legit. I think that their defense, Indianapolis defense, is trash. So if anything, I'm going to play some Tony Pollard. I might play some Tajay Spears, and I'm going to play some Nuke Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is my guy this week. He's underpriced. Nobody likes him. I like him. I love him. He's timeless. He never gets old. He's always going to score touchdowns against the division rivals. I think the one of my sneaky wide receiver plays on this slate is DeAndre Hopkins. 3%. Could get out of here. 5,100, 3%. Smash it.
I was considering playing him against you. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did he make it into my lineup against you?
I don't know. We'll have to see the lineup.
I tried.
Those are called teases, kids. We'll have to see at the end.
I can't remember. He was in there eventually at first. I don't know if he made the final cut.
We'll have to see who did make the final cut too, because it's coming back. I could win. I could be 3 for 3 in a row because I was 0-3. So it's quite a comeback.
If you want a GPP stack, it would be Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins. Because
are you running it back with anybody on the Colts side in the receiver room?
Josh Downs. And everybody's down on Downs because of Richardson, but the game that Richardson got hurt, he was finding Downs just as much early in that game. On that first drive where Richardson got hurt, he drove them down the field using Josh Downs. Downs is that quick twitch slot guy that gets open for anybody, and Richardson will find him. Flacco, of course, is known for just kind of plodding down the field with those little checkdowns, but Richardson's going to do the same thing. I don't think that the pass catchers get as much of a downgrade as the market is showing. So Josh Downs for me. Pittman he barely is able to play in this game, so I'm going to fade him. He's got that nagging back injury that is going to play through instead of going on IR. That's a red flag for me. I also kind of like Adonai Mitchell. He's been getting open. Joe Flacco doesn't like him for some reason. But Richardson does. Richardson's going to take some shots. He likes to bomb it down there to Alec Pierce just as much as Flacco.
All I can hear is Mike Tyson going, "I broke my back." And be like, "What?" Like, it's spinal.
Eat your children.
Oh no, Mike Tyson, you beautiful human. I love you so.
I just hope he just crushes that Paul idiot. I want him to kill him.
Yeah, I want there to be moderate amount of bloodshed. You know, I want to be able to tell my kids I saw it on replay, but I looked away.
Making sure my timer's not going off on my jambalaya.
Hey, go check your jambalaya. I'll talk a little bit about this jambalaya that is the New Orleans Saints offense.
I got a timer. It's gonna be
Spencer Rattler. What do you think about this?
I think the Bucs defense is a smash play. There it is.
Apparently, everybody else does too. You and I both are playing it in the clash because we're not dumbalayas, as they say. But yeah, I respect Spencer Rattler. People are saying he is the next Patrick Mahomes. Good for him. I think you look at Jaden Daniels. He's more Mahomesian with his ability to, kind of operate outside the pocket. You saw that throw to Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin was halfway across the field. He gave him a little, meet you in the end zone, meet you downfield. Just rolled out to the right and slung it. So, yeah, I'm okay with the anointing going to someone else other than Spencer Rattler. But in this game, it's going to be at home, which I do like for New Orleans, but I am definitely going Tampa Bay. And I don't think Taysom Hill is a little banged up. He's out for this game. So just their weapons are depleted. And the Bucs are pretty good at coverage. They're not too bad. They stop the pass coverage. So I'm leaning a little bit away from those normal Rashid Shaheed, those Olave plays. I'm kind of out. I think Alvin Kamara is one of the big plays here. And then Bucky Irvin. I think he's the most rostered, chalkiest person in the history of our week this week. The Irviner. You're playing Bucky against me. He's got the starting wheels up. What do you think about Bucky this week, Bo?
Go Ducks.
Yeah.
Go Ducks. Bucky's a great play in cash. He's a great play in your season-long managed leagues. If you're playing in a tournament, I would fade Bucky Irving. He's a little chalky. And I get it. He's going to get the volume here. Tampa Bay doesn't have Rashad White. Bucky Irving's good, but the Saints defense isn't bad. This is a solid unit where I can see Bucky doing pretty well. I don't think he has the ceiling, 27 points. I don't think he's going to hit that. Kamara is a better play for 2,300 more, of course. I'd rather play Kamara at the top of my lineup as an RB1, but I guess if you go heavy on expensive wide receivers, you might be forced to get a guy in there like Bucky, but the wide receiver plays in this slate are kind of in that mid-range this week for me. So I don't need to be in Bucky Irving territory in most of my lineups, even though it's an obvious play. But yeah, don't do the K Dotton thing. That's insane.
Yeah, that's 17%, kids. Let's go look and see compared to all the other. We're gonna pan out and look at all the tight ends here, because that's pretty gross. Jake Ferguson, I get that. That's the Cowboys. That's a big shootout. You don't have. And Brandon
he actually
Cooks.
Catches passes all day long.
Right, a favorite of Dak, one of the guys who catches touchdowns too. There's upside through the roof. I get that, but not in this K Dotton. How many touchdowns K Dotton got in the last 24 games? 2, 3? I don't know.
He has more drops in the last 2 games than he has touchdowns in his career.
That's one of those Ripley's believe it or not, and I believe it.
He's a guy. Here's what K Dotton is. Runs a lot of routes, doesn't catch very many passes.
He's like Clint Didier for the then Redskins, just a big white guy running in the middle of the field, drawing your attention away from Art Monk and Gary Clark and Ricky Sanders and everybody catching the football.
K Dotton drawing attention away from Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer, and God Chris Wynn.
Oh, 2 of our favorites. The show loves those guys, by the way. Patron saints of our show. We just, to both of you, bless your soul.
Jesus, God Chris Wynn and Mike Evans. If you're going to play Baker Mayfield, which I strongly suggest in this game, then you're going to have to get a little bit of chalk on your Chris Godwin play. But Mike Evans, my God, that's a play and a half. Mike Evans is
4%. While people stupid.
The balls. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Listen, I think I saw our guy, your boy, and by the way, saved in my phone with you, saying hi to him because I'm a creepy stalker guy. Over there, Ian Harditz from the Fantasy Life. He said, happy Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans week to all who celebrate. And we do on the show. It's one of our favorite things, too. And guess what? Mike Evans has got the best of him the whole time. Mike Evans has gotten the best of him.
You know what we like? We like violence and vitriol on this show. And that matchup, those two guys hate each other. They play on rival teams.
Oh, yeah, hate.
Tampa Bay, the Bucks escaped the wrath of Hurricane Milton to come to New Orleans and throw a beat down on the New Orleans Saints, which they will do. This game, I think the Bucks absolutely annihilate the Saints because Spencer Rattler's terrible. He always has been. He always will be. They are probably going to go to Jay Kaner before this game's over because I think Spencer Rattler is going to be pulling a Peterman in this game. It's going to be ugly. The Bucks secondary is awful, which is going to fool a lot of people into playing a little Spencer Rattler in a leverage play. It's not worth it, guys. If you're going to play anybody, play the Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans stack because that is just money in the bank.
I put it at 5%. And here's the thing too. Mike Evans came out and he just said, the people in Tampa dealing with, Hurricane Milton and all that, we got to give them a little bit to feel good about. Like we need to give them something. We got to give the people a little bit of hope right now. And no, it's football, right? It doesn't matter. Something small, like just a day-to-day, a win. A win on the field is a win in your community. It just makes you feel a little bit better. I agree with that. As somebody who lives in a community where it's been dark and terrible for a long time, I'm not even a Commanders fan. Watching them go 4-1, everyone's happy and smiling, and hey neighbor, and you're like, oh shit, crazy.
Winning is the best deodorant. It's the most accurate statement that's ever been uttered.
Yeah, so I could just see Mike Evans coming through with one of those two-tutty games. So, I'm not going to call it, but if you want to put a little wager on the two-tutty performance for Mike Evans, you're not going to know.
Three tutties.
That's quite the call there. I like it.
Yeah,
Ding, ding.
And they're gonna bring the spade and the tarp out for Marshawn Lattimore.
I really hope that. By the way, he's not that good anymore. I mean, he's not bad, but he's not that good anymore.
No, he's spunky. He's got fight in him, but he's not the athlete he used to be when he would actually face up against Mike Evans and get the best of him on some plays. That's not the same guy anymore. Mike Evans has aged like wine. Lattimore has aged like an NFL corner.
Yeah. He's got a little bit of an attitude problem for sure. Speaking of somebody who apathy might be the attitude problem, they're still playing Deshaun Watson for some fucking reason. I don't understand that. That just blows my mind. But everybody's on Jalen Hurts in this game. 7,200. He's back off of having no weapons, having a bye week, but just kind of looking kind of apathetic himself in those matchups. But he's got Devonta Smith back. He's got A.J. Brown back. Are you wheels up? 15%? That's high, but I mean, quarterback kind of that doesn't really matter that much. If you're 15%, it's different than like 30% with QBs.
If there's anything the Browns do well, it's cover wide receivers. So no, I'm not going to do that. Jalen Hurts is good. He's going to score some points. Is he going to meet his ceiling in this game? Absolutely not. AJ Brown's a good play, leverage. Devontae Smith's a good play, leverage. But I'm not going to play Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna play some Brown and Smith separately. But I'm not stacking this game. I think this game's going to be a big, smelly dud. And Deshaun Watson, I just hope is out of the league and out of everybody's conversations forever because I'm sick of this shit. The dude is a worthless piece of shit human being and needs to be gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna double stamp that. No racies. And here's the thing:
no takesy backsies.
Yeah, no touchies, no takeys, backsies, no drop your towelsies, none of that.
Get him out of the league.
Yeah, he should be done.
He shouldn't disgrace.
Yeah, complete. Here's the thing. I don't understand this. Jalen Hurts, 15% rostered. Normally in tournaments and other things like that, you're going to stack him, and your rostership is going to reflect it in other weapons that are aligned to it. And there's not. So
they're playing Hurts naked when it should be the opposite way,
where
you play as wide receivers, but not the quarterback in this case.
Yeah. And if anything, I do like a little bit of Saquon. If you're not going to do Derrick Henry,
oh my goodness, Saquon is in a smashy spot.
I lean
smashy.
way more towards Saquon than Hurts, particularly at that 7% compared to 15%. Just different, and it's the same. You're buying up near the top of the tier, so you're trading tiers in this offense, thinking one tier might be a little bit more exploitable and also have bigger upside. Because, like you said, the defense is good, but you can get a little bit of here, a little bit of there from A.J. Brown, from Devonta Smith to have it pay off, but maybe not overall Jalen Hurts with touchdowns and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm not. Are you building any stacks in this game? Because I don't like any Deshaun Watson pieces.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
The Browns have been an absolute embarrassment this year.
Yeah, retract them. Retract the Browns. Relegate them EPL style. English Premier League. Just send
Guess
them down
what?
to
They made their own bed. They shit in their own bed, and they must lay in their own bed.
Isn't there a owner, somebody who is a felon who Haslam? Didn't he do a bunch of crimes and the FCC was investigating his dump truck company for a bunch of or trash truck company, a bunch of things. Not good people. Not
You
good. They're
can't
not sending
really.
us their best people. The
There
NFL.
aren't many NFL owners that don't have a rap sheet.
Oh, it's just terrible. It's like what you need to get in the club. You got to be a huge piece of shit. So hey, good for you. Glad you're doing this. Good, you're looking great. Yeah. So go Philly. We're all Phillies. We're not Phillies, but Eagles fans. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about.
You know, it's bad when we're not like. I actually like Browns fans.
Yeah.
I just hate their team.
Nothing wrong with
It's
people.
like I feel bad for the Browns fans
Oh, me
because
too.
they're good people that have just been dealt a shit hand year after year. They finally get something good with Baker Mayfield back in the day, and they shit all over him and kick him out of town, and they go and make the worst transaction history of professional sports. And now they're just like they're back in hell again. And so, and you know how bad it has to be for you to be like more endearing than Eagles fans. Eagles
booed
fans,
Santa Claus. They booed Santa Claus, guys.
they threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
Right, batteries probably too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, shout out LA Dodgers fans. Stay classy out there. Yeah, I don't understand. Listen, I'm not a Padres fan necessarily, but I'm becoming one watching you guys be a bunch of jerkholes to everybody. So
well, the Padres are out, so now we're getting to root for the Mets. So go Mets.
Go Mets.
Anybody but the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Good Lord. Get them out of here. Get them out of here.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this game because Drake May is being thrown to the wolves. I think the Texans
Poor
defense
guy.
sacked whoever they played last week.
Is that I know the Bucks are chalky defense, but are the Texans chalky?
I'm checking it right now. No, they're not. They're
There's your tournament defense play.
They're expensive at 3,600. I think they're second most expensive, but 6%.
That doesn't matter. Drake May isn't ready, and he has no offensive line. And Houston gets after the quarterback.
Sack Caleb Williams like 7 times.
Yeah, and they were all over Josh Allen for the whole game. Like they were hunting Josh Allen the whole game.
That's bad.
So yeah, Drake May, maybe he'll be good down the road. Throwing him into this game as your debut with no line, with very few good receivers, with Ramondre Stevenson, his running back, satellite back, is gone, out for the game. What is Gerard Mayo thinking here? Just throw Jacoby out there. Leave Jacoby out there because Drake May, if he's going to make his debut, don't make it this game.
No,
it doesn't make any sense.
Not a winnable game at all. Not that any of them really are, but maybe it's just he's at home. But I would actually start him on the road so there'd be less pressure. So the people that are, going to start booing him at halftime, and that's not what you want. You don't want a 24-0. Here's the only question: Is C.J. Stroud and Diggs viable? Because it could be 24-0 because of a fumble, a turnover. Scores that aren't necessarily accumulating DFS points for your squad because one side's dominating, but they still are dominating just because of good defense or whatever. Like, how are you looking at this 37 points? Because it could be really 35 points for the Texans and 2 points or 3 points for New England.
So I like Diggs and I like Tank Dell. I'm on Stroud because I don't think that they keep the pedal down if they're blowing the Patriots out. I do like Joe Mixon in this game, coming back from the ankle. He's fresh. He looks spry in practice. He got hip dropped in week 2. Very dirty tackle, and he called the guy out for it. He called the league out for not throwing a flag. They did fine the guy for it. They do after the fact. If there's no flag on the field, they still get a fine for the hip drop tackles, which is a cowardly way to tackle. It's the worst way to tackle. You don't need to tackle that way. Joe Mixon called it out, and that's an NFL running back. And if you get called out by an NFL running back for being a dirty player, you probably are a dirty player. Because a lot of these running backs are just lunch pail guys that just want to stay on the field. They're already getting hurt in great numbers. They don't need help getting hurt more with dirty tackles. So no, Antonio Gibson at 19%. Chalk block.
Have enough. They're going to probably get 40 plays in this game if they're lucky. Joe Mixon's a great play here at 3% leverage. He's gonna be a big touchdown upside guy. And then Dare Agumbawale, if this game's out of hand, they're not gonna put Mixon back out there with his gimpy ankle to get more chances to mess up. Dare Agumbawale is a decent pivot
there. If you expect this to be a blowout, then you're going to want the depth piece to get some catches and to get some carries at 4,800.
Yeah, and he's got something to prove. He runs like he wants to eat.
Yeah, he's an NFL running back on the cusp of rosters. He's a good special teams player, and he's a good satellite receiving back.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to discourage folks, but like we're at 37.5, and you're thinking like, oh fuck, it can't get worse. No, it gets worse, and then it gets worse again. So it gets worse and worse. So let's talk about the next one. Pittsburgh going into Vegas. Vegas does not have a quarterback. They've got an O'Connell and they got a Minshew, and between them, they've got an issue.
So bad.
It's laughable and cryable at the same time.
I didn't think Minshew was that bad, but O'Connell is.
They're starting O'Connell now, right? Like that's bad for Minshew.
Well, yeah, if he's not playing, it's really bad for him. Yeah, Najee Harris getting a little chalk, but I think he's underpriced for what he's going to do here. Jalen Warren is active for this game.
He's bad.
And the problem is Arthur Smith hates him. So he loves Najee. Najee's the physical downhill runner that Arthur Smith always loves. He's the Tyler Algier. He's the Wish.com Derrick Henry. It's Najee Harris going to get a ton of carries. Jalen Warren, who got a lot of run with Matt Canada's offense because he's more explosive and can catch the ball better. He's not getting the run. He's getting beat out for carries by Cordell Patterson, by Aaron Shampklin. Shampklin's going to be the guy who, if you're going to want the deepest of deep shots at running back, that's your pick right there, because Jalen Warren is still not in favor, even though he's healthy enough to play in this game. He was doubtful on Monday. They were already saying, nope, no chance. And then on Wednesday, questionable, still doubtful, really. They're like, yeah, game time decision, blah, blah, blah. And then Warren keeps going to practice saying, guys, I'm fine. I can cut, I can run, I can do all this stuff without pain. I'm running at 100%. And then they're like, oh, fine, we'll take the Q tag off. But I don't expect Arthur Smith to give him any run because Arthur Smith is a moron.
We have a long-seated hatred of Arthur Smith on this show. And Nepo Babies,
we wouldn't hate him as much if he actually did his job right. Like he's an okay designer of a run game. He gives us some upside with the running backs, but he's so dumb when it comes to play calling, when it comes to personnel rotations. His best wide receiver got 54% of the snaps last week. And I know that's George Pickens, who likes to sleepwalk through more than half of his routes. So I get it if you want to bench him, but just saying, oh, we would like to moderate his snaps to get him motivated, that's asinine. You don't have anybody else who can get open on this whole team. You have a quarterback who needs his receiver on the field to get open so he can complete passes. That's just, there's no explanation that makes any sense. If you're going to play anybody in this game, it's my guy from NorCal. Shout it out, the freak, Brock Bowers.
Yeah, and I got to do a big mea culpa. I said not to play him against zone, and you said, shut the fuck up, Scott, you're stupid. And then I was like, okay, all right, maybe I will be wrong. And I was wrong. Right away, first play, he beat his own. And, and
it was for
or beat man. He beat man. So I said
he beat man.
He beat man. That's what I said.
He always. I mean, he slashes through zone so easy. But you're like, oh, he hasn't shown much against man according to the numbers. The put their spectacles on and they see the data, and he's not getting separation against man coverage. And I said, well, it depends on who the man coverage is, because if you're going up against who is the Denver linebacker that he was getting covered by,
McNubbs, I think it was McNubbins.
Yeah, it was funny because that guy got mossed, and then the secondary got torched after the catch, where it was cute that they thought they had an angle on the freak we call Brock Bowers, because he was gonzo.
He was just toe tapping the whole way down too. He was just tick, 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 tick.
Yeah. So now Scotty Stacks will no longer ever doubt the athleticism, the man beating, zone beating prowess of one Brock Bowers ever again. We did it together. It only took one mea culpa for you to come on board with possibly the best tight end prospect that's ever been coming out of college football.
Well, I love that you were accidentally drafted him in our dynasty league instead of Kyle Pitts, who you would have chosen because of the auto draft that I initiated because it's 8 hours was up or whatever the time frame was up, and I was like, well, we got to keep going. So, mea culpa to that for you is you have him on your dynasty team. You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm not stacking anybody in this game. Are you stacking anybody in this game? No. No. And the next game,
play Brock Bowers. That's it.
Yeah, the next game. Wow. Oh man. Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do
you? I like some J.K. Dobbins a little, maybe 10% of my lineups. J.K. Dobbins, yeah. And if I'm going really deep, I'm going to go with Kamani Vidal making his NFL debut because there's no Gus Edwards in this game. So I'll play a little bit of Kamani in those GPPs.
The GPP bros have been alerted, by the way.
Yeah. There's nobody's going to get sneaky with a guy who was being drafted at the end of every best ball draft. those best ball bros, they tuck their man bun into their backwards hat when the season starts and they become GPP bros. It's kind of it's a funny little transition that they do.
Yeah, they just use different rolling paper for the different seasons.
Yeah. They take they go to the sublingual Molly instead of the tablets. They've been on Kamani Vidal all summer, so you're not going to surprise anybody with Vidal. Maybe this week you can because they're not quite sure about what kind of load he's going to get. But this game stinks. This game really stinks.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm moving through. Ooh, to a game I do like. And I'm wondering, I want to see how Kirk was Cousins. Kirk's not Cousins that much. I don't understand this. Talk to me about this. He's my play against you. I thought I was going a little GPP, bro, because I went double stack with my tight end and my – what's going on here? No Captain Kirk?
No.
You into
the other –
you think it's going to be –
The problem is the other team – last time was the Bucks. The Bucks can score enough points to keep things rolling. That was why Kirk Cousins threw for 500 yards. Is because Tampa Bay kept scoring on the other side. So you get that back and forth shoot. Yeah, you got to have the dance partner. The Panthers are a terrible dance partner.
Right, they suck ass.
They can't dance. They have 2 left feet. So if it's gonna be the narrative that the Falcons are going to win this game handily, which I don't know if I believe quite as much as the general public. I still think that it's going to be Bijan City because he needs to do something. Like he hasn't been 100% on the field. You can tell he's not there like physically.
He's not getting 15 touches. He's getting 13, 12. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah. This Falcons team's a mess. They've been good down the field with Drake London, who's absolutely on in my player pool as a heavy play. I believe you have him stacked with Cousins against me in the clash. That's a smart play. Drake London should be chalky. Deontay Johnson should be chalky. Darnell Mooney maybe shouldn't be chalky. I think we start going more towards London as the season progresses.
There's so much chalk in this game, though. I mean, 23. I mean, just on the Falcons, 24, 18, 16. That's too much chalk. You can't get that chalky. That's ridiculous.
Hey, you can get it, and we're just going to block it. We're just going to say, you know what? We like these pieces kind of on their own, but we're not going to be getting overboard on it. Kyle Pitts is a leverage play, which is nice.
How is he 5%? I don't. So he's 4,400, right? 5%.
Nobody believes he can back up last week's performance with another one. They're thinking that it's going to go right back to London and Mooney, and Kirk Cousins needs. Here's the deal: Kirk Cousins needs Kyle Pitts to get to that 500-yard performance, those 400 yards, those 300-yard bonus performances. He needs number 8. He needs Drake London and Kyle Pitts to be the twin towers, like Duncan and Robinson of the old Spurs days. Like that's how the Falcons score points. That's how they get and run up the score on the Bucks. They do it through the passing game with their tall guys that run down there like track stars, the basketball team. It's not going to be with Darnell Mooney a bunch of times because we saw that the first 3 games where Darnell Mooney was the number 1 target and they kept losing. You know why? It's because he wasn't looking for his best players. Kirk Cousins is getting a rhythm with Kyle Pitts, and he has had a rhythm with Drake London, primarily in the power slot role. Shout out to Matt Harmon, who picked that out of tape, saying that Drake London's probably going to lead the NFL in receptions this year because they've stuck him in that power slot where those nickel corners have no chance against him. None. He's so tough. He's so big and physical. He's got so much yak potential. And then Kyle Pitts up the seam. We saw what he did to Levante David last week. Levante David's one of the best rangy middle linebackers in the league, and he got dusted by Kyle Pitts. You know why? Because Kyle Pitts is a gazelle. He's a freak. And Kirk Cousins just needs to keep peppering him like he did last week. That's how the Falcons win this game handily. That's how we get to these chalky numbers, and it's not without Kyle Pitts. It's crazy talk. They have him at 5% and everybody else extremely chalky. Hit that leverage point. I think if anybody deserves a roster spot in a tournament in DFS in this game, it is Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, sorry I had to pull him out against you in our little head-to-head. It was a GPP desperation play. Honestly, like I knew you were gonna have Derrick Henry. I had to have him too, and then I was like, I gotta go balls to the walls because this could turn ugly for me because you could have it be a Bijan day. 2 touchdowns for Bijan. Defense, by the way, 2% roster. There's your leverage. Go Bijan defense, and you're just cutting right through all that.
Boom.
Chalk has been blocked completely if you want to just be nasty and filthy against people in your tournaments, which I might want to do. So
there's one guy on the Falcons defense that could win this game by himself, and that's Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates is an absolute wrecker for opposing offenses.
If they don't, isn't he? He's a safety.
Yeah,
is that correct?
Yeah, he's a safety, and he's everywhere all at once. And he's always around the football. He's always punching the football out. He's always reading the quarterback's eyes and jumping routes. If they don't stay away from him, he will wreck the game.
Yeah, I hope they do not stay away from him and he wrecks the game. That's my hope. Yeah,
I love Jesse Bates.
Make it Chuba Hubbard, not Deontay My Johnson, because I need him in some leagues. But besides
that, I love Deontay.
Yeah, me too. All right,
I'll eat the chalk on Deontay for sure.
Yeah, and I did some stacks with him and Drake London, and you're mitigating some of that chalk when you run both of them because most times people don't have them both. They have one or the other, and that kind of is like in the game. Who do you think I'm going to go with this guy or whatever? But I like a little bit of the double stack. So all right, let's talk about your boys. Your boys coming into they went into Detroit last year. Now Detroit's coming into your boys. Dallas, they've been coming back. They struggled a little bit. They're 3-2. What do you think about the boys in this matchup?
I think Detroit's a better team, but Dallas has kind of shown some grit. Like their game against the Giants, they showed some grit. Then they surprised me against the Steelers. I thought the Steelers were going to run down there and bully them in Pittsburgh, and yeah, they did bully them. But guess what? The Steelers are coached by Arthur Smith, so I had nothing to worry about. They just completely buried the Cowboys in the trenches like they were supposed to. Najee Harris running wild. The front four for Dallas was getting just buried in the ground the whole game. And I should have known that Arthur Smith offenses just aren't going to score more than 17 points. And Dallas had a chance to win at the end, and they pulled it off. Jalen Tolbert got kneed in the nuts the play before and still caught the game-winning touchdown from Dak, who Dak had an awful game. He was horrendous the entire game, but he goes down there and just leads the touchdown with the game-winning touchdown drive. So Dallas has showed more grit, more like urgency in the last 2 games than I've seen in the last 25 years from this franchise.
That's good. I like hearing they got banged in the balls. He was balls to the walls, really.
He took a knee to the nuts and limped back to the huddle, and then they called his number and he pulled it off. Jalen Tolbert. Fucking shout out JT Jalen Tolbert. My God, what a play.
You got to love the resiliency that when you actually get out there, it takes the pain's gone because that's what you want. You want to get back into the groove of running and getting away and just like I'm just going out there.
He was running like Yosemite Sam on that crossing route.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, balls to the walls. I love it. In this matchup, we've got a lot of chalk up top with Jake Ferguson, Amon Ra, CD. Of course, they're the biggest options, but then
Yeah.
Dak too, 12%. All right, talk to me. Where are you fading the chalk? Where you eating a little chalk here?
I'm going to fade some Ferguson, even though I think he'll have a solid game. I don't know if he hits the ceiling game. St. Brown, I'm playing. CD Lamb, I'm playing. Dak, I'm going to fade. Jalen Tolbert, too chalky. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are the key to Detroit winning this game. On tape, you can see where Pittsburgh dominated the Cowboys up front. The Lions are even better at doing that in the trenches, especially David Montgomery. Good on him. Earned a new 2-year extension today. Good job, David Montgomery. Proud of you. He's the guy that's going to beat Dallas up. This is a defense that is very finesse, and they do get bullied by physicality up front. David Montgomery personifies that as much as possible. If they run that off tackle right, like off the right run off tackle with Montgomery right behind Penei Sewell, I don't think Dallas can stop it or slow it down. So I do think him and Gibbs are going to have really big games. And then Rico Dowdle, that's a sneaky play there. He looked great against the Steelers. And that was a surprise to me because I thought the Steelers were going to have that running game shut down. Dallas had shown no running game whatsoever up until that game, and Rico Dowdle looked good. And he's a well-rounded player who deserves to be rostered more than 3%.
Much in agreement with you on that. I think all these running backs are under rostered 9, 6, 3.
You could, not Zeke.
Yeah,
you could not Hunter Lipke.
Well, no, I meant the top 3, the 9, 6, 3, not the. Yeah, those guys.
Those,
no, thank you.
Everybody's thinking this is going to be a high flying affair, but look at what the Lions do. Their identity is running the football. Their identity is mashing people in the trenches on both sides of the ball. That's where they built their team around the Aiden Hutchinson on the defense and Penei Sewell on the offense. They want those nasties in the trenches to determine the outcome of the game. And then the Cowboys have tried to make their identity Rico Dowdle and then running the boot with Dak and getting guys in space because nobody can cover CD Lamb on Detroit. There's no chance they have anybody to cover CD Lamb. But Jake Ferguson is decent. I just think he's more of a cash play. It's a really green light matchup for Ferguson. But I think the Lions win through the running game and they keep the ball away from Dallas's offense. That's the key here. Is if Detroit plays their game, Dallas won't have many opportunities to keep up with them.
The total being 52.5 is the highest total on the board. I think I'm going under on this. So
I'm going way under. I think it'll be like 44.
Yeah. You ready to run the Sims?
Run them. Blue 42. Hot.
It feels like I'm running at an incredible rate of speed, Harry.
Ooh, I like that. Lamar, Bucky, JK, Trey Tucker. Ooh, Leggett. Never mind. Lamar, Bucky, JK, Deontay. Pickens, no. Get Pickens out of there. Fuck Pickens. Jordan Love, Austin Eckler. They really love Trey Tucker, don't they?
I like this one. It's Lamar, Bucky, J.K. Rashad, Terry, Jaden Reed. Oh yeah, Trey Tucker's in there. Oh wait, no, the one under no. Lamar, Bucky,
Drake London, and the flex is nice. That one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that one.
You can change Trey Tucker for anybody in that in that value range, but I love that lineup. Other than that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like.
They really love Trey Tucker. He's in every lineup.
I mean, I think Jacoby Myers a little banged up too. So
Yeah. Myers is doubtful.
Yeah, that just gives him the target share at that cheap price.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like the Kirk Cousins, Bucky, Austin Eckler, Reed, Deontay, Drake, Jake, and Kyle Pitts lineup. That one.
Yeah, with Houston's double tight end.
Defense. Yeah, I love that one. That's a fantastic lineup. The one with 50K. Wicks and Connor. The one with Love, Wicks and Connor, and Bucky and Trey Tucker. Dobbins in the flex. That's a good one. And that one right below it with Diami and Ferguson and London in the flex. Yeah. We got some potential here.
Yeah.
And
I like
the
it.
versatility at quarterback. There's good quarterbacks in each tier. So whichever I actually recommend building lineups with quarterback last,
I like that. I like that.
because determining your skill players first, you're going to find yourself in a tier with a good quarterback no matter what you do. Like you said earlier in the show, quarterback doesn't matter this week as much because we're not going to get the 5-touchdown Joe Burrow day like we did last week. We're not going to get the Joe Flacco throwing 2 bombs in desperation in the fourth quarter like we did last week. That's not going to happen. I think we're going to get fewer surprises this week at quarterback and more of that chalk. So build around your skill guys and get the guys you want, and then see how much you have left for your quarterback. If it's $7K, then great. You get a Lamar Jackson or a Jordan Love or somebody like that. If you have less left over, you can still go with Kirk Cousins. You can go with pretty much anybody. Even Jared Goff's a good play this week.
Yeah, it's interesting. I put Ferguson down to 20%, and he's still in every lineup. They really love Ferguson so much. It's so funny. Him and Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Detroit has shown no ability to cover tight ends.
That's bad. That's not a good.
What happened? Oh, you're looking for your email address for our lineups. Hey, there's my lineup. Hey, look at Baltimore right up top. I got 3 Ravens.
Talk about
Lamar Jackson,
What are you doing here,
Derrick
everybody?
Henry, Rashad Bateman. I think Washington's defense is a little fluky the last 2 weeks, and I think we're underplaying how well Baltimore's offense scores points. They're gonna run all over them. Bucky Irving, chalk play, great cash play. Is going to get a lot of high efficiency opportunities. Stephon Diggs without Nico Collins becomes the X alpha for CJ Stroud against the Patriots. He's going to draw the Christian Gonzalez matchup, which isn't ideal, but I do think Diggs gets enough target share to make it for a cash game. I don't know if he has quite the upside for a GPP play, but I will like to play some Diggs in that top target earning opportunity with CJ Stroud, obviously dealing this year. He's so good.
Oh, he's a beast, man. And Nico, man, shout out to him. I just feel so bad for him. He went out on that touchdown, just pulled that hammy. 4 weeks. Maybe he doesn't need 4 weeks, but he needs at least 2. So they're not going to keep him.
And I was seeing it as a grade 2 sprain, which might even be longer than 4 weeks. It might be like what Eckler did a couple of years ago, which was 8 weeks.
Well, I like that you got your boy Brocky B in here on me. I don't like that really at all, honestly.
And the upside of Dontavion Wicks. And I only had enough money left over for K. Dotton. But
humble
I mean,
pie
I don't hate it. New Orleans is terrible against tight ends, so I guess I'll rely on the.
I mean, the GPP is different. You don't like him in GPP. This is a cash game. It's just me versus you, so it's different. Yeah, right. There's no.
But yeah, and the Bucks defense against Spencer Rattler is fun. But I guess we're gonna match on that one.
Yeah, we match on our running back and our defense. So what are you gonna do?
Hey, we're both really good at this, so I wouldn't be surprised. I love your lineup. Your lineup is fantastic. Kirko Chains and Drake London. The double stack with my guys London and Pitts. I hate you. You got my guy Nuke in there. You got Tony Pollard, my favorite player ever. You got Diami, my touchdown call from last week. You just love you some Bo this week.
Yeah.
You got all my guys in the same lineup. I don't know how you fit them in with the salary cap. I hate you so much for this lineup because I'm going to be rooting for this lineup. I'm going to put this lineup into a 50-50.
Please do.
On my own because I think it's an easy win. Jaden Reed smash. Like I have no idea how this lineup is under 50,000 salary cap. That's how good it is.
It's wild, and I think I might play this lineup in like the $100 double up, $50 double up because something like that. So 150 or the 50, not the 150. They have a 50 or 100, but yeah, because I haven't done that for a while. But this drips to me. So as the kids are saying, I appreciate it. Well, well, I think I'm getting the volume stuff down. I'm mixing the mics. I'm turning myself down the overall main mixer when you talk. So we're getting there. Please go do follow us here on Twitter. We are 477 followers. This is Chalk Blocked. We'll get a better picture in there soon. But go follow myself, Nimble W Numbers. This is me being sexy, throwing the football. I do have a nice bod now compared to being a bastard I used to be. And then go follow my friend, Mr. Bo _Mick Big Time, and go be a patron to his culinary delights over at BigTimeFlavorCo.co. Bo, I'm not going to lie to you. I did a little something today. I cut one of your spices because it was too spicy for me just to straight make ribs out of your spices. It was the seasonings, and it was the.
Don't be a pansy, Scott.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know if you have this one anymore because I think you changed the name of it. I think is what you did. Or is it
so the Shelby Street Heat? Yeah, it used to be That's Clucking Hot. It's cayenne, so it is hot.
Yes, it's very hot. It's the hottest thing, and so I couldn't put it all over the ribs. So I did cut it with a little bit of chili powder and paprika, just a little tiny bit, because I couldn't stand the whole heat, Bo, on my ribs, because But honestly, it's best. Taco Sizzin is the best. Get that for the ribs, and I'm definitely gonna get it next time. So please go buy some. I'll buy some. I'll make it a Merry Christmas for Bo, and for his wife, who is an amazing part of his business model. So
yeah, she created the website. Look how good it looks.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, that is the show. This is us. This is me and Bo. We appreciate you guys, and stay tuned, and hopefully the sound stuff will keep getting better and better.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Yeah, I love it. All right, we'll see you guys next time, and we are out.